Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Caleb Sterling, and today we're going to talk about something most of us do without really thinking about it. We reheat food. Whether it's leftover dinner from last night, lunch from the break room microwave, or something you grabbed from the fridge this morning, reheating is just part of modern life. But what if I told you that certain reheated foods could significantly increase your risk of pancreatic cancer? Now, before you panic or think this is another internet scare tactic, hear me out. The research behind this is solid, and what you're about to learn might genuinely change how you approach leftovers. Let me be clear up front. I'm not saying you should never eat leftovers. That's not practical, and frankly, it's not realistic. What I'm saying is that you need to understand which foods are problematic when reheated, why they become problematic, and how to handle them safely. Because knowledge is power, and when it comes to your health, understanding your risk factors is the first step toward protecting yourself. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you the 5 reheated foods that research has linked to increased pancreatic cancer risk, explain the science behind why this happens, and then give you practical strategies to reduce your risk. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly what to avoid and what to do instead. Let's start with the basics. Your pancreas is an organ that often doesn't get the attention it deserves until something goes wrong. It sits deep in your abdomen, behind your stomach, and it does 2 critical jobs. First, it produces insulin and glucagon to regulate your blood sugar. Second, it produces enzymes that help you digest food. When pancreatic cancer develops, it's incredibly aggressive. Patients often don't know they have it until it's already in advanced stages because the pancreas is hidden and doesn't cause pain early on. Now, why would reheated food matter? It comes down to chemistry. When you heat certain foods, especially if you're reheating them multiple times, chemical reactions happen that don't occur in fresh preparations. Some compounds break down, others concentrate, and new compounds form. Some of these compounds have been linked to inflammation and cellular damage in the pancreas. Let me walk you through the 5 problematic reheated foods, starting with number 1. Number 1 is vegetable oils, particularly when they're used for cooking and then reheated. This includes olive oil, canola oil, soybean oil, and corn oil. Now here's what happens. When you heat vegetable oils to high temperatures for cooking, especially if you reuse the same oil multiple times, the fatty acids in those oils break down. This process creates compounds called oxidized linoleic acid metabolites, or OXLAMs. Research has shown that these compounds are particularly inflammatory and may damage the pancreatic cells. When you reheat food cooked in these oils, you're essentially concentrating these harmful compounds. Here's what I recommend instead. When cooking, use oils with higher smoke points that are more stable at high heat, like avocado oil or coconut oil. If you're reheating, try not to reheat foods cooked in vegetable oils if possible. If you must reheat, use lower temperatures and shorter times. Better yet, store the cooked vegetables separately from the oil and add fresh oil when you're ready to eat them. Number 2 is processed meats. This includes bacon, sausage, deli meats, hot dogs, and any processed or cured meat products. These foods contain compounds called nitrates and nitrites, which are used as preservatives. When you reheat processed meats, especially at high temperatures, these nitrates and nitrites can convert into compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are known carcinogens, and multiple studies have shown a direct link between nitrosamine exposure and pancreatic cancer risk. What's concerning is that this conversion happens most readily when you reheat processed meats in a microwave or at high temperatures. The longer the storage time before reheating, and the higher the temperature during reheating, the more nitrosamines form. My recommendation here is straightforward. Minimize processed meats in your diet, period. If you do eat them, don't reheat them. It's genuinely better to eat them cold or at room temperature from the refrigerator than to reheat them. And whenever possible, choose fresh meats over processed alternatives. Your pancreas will thank you. Number 3 is refined carbohydrates and breads that have been reheated. This includes white bread, pastries, cookies, and other processed grain products. Here's the surprising part. When refined carbohydrates are reheated, they undergo a chemical process that increases something called the glycemic index even further. This means they cause your blood sugar to spike even more dramatically than they do in their fresh state. Why does this matter for pancreatic cancer? Because your pancreas is the organ that has to produce insulin to deal with those blood sugar spikes. Over time, repeatedly spiking your blood sugar puts enormous stress on the pancreatic cells that produce insulin. This chronic stress and inflammation creates an environment where cancer can more easily develop. Furthermore, refined carbohydrates are also high in a compound called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. When you reheat these foods, especially in a microwave, the AGE content increases. AGEs are inflammatory compounds that accumulate in your tissues and promote oxidative stress and inflammation throughout your body, including in the pancreas. The smart play here is to avoid refined carbohydrates altogether, but if you're going to eat bread or grain products, choose whole grains. And critically, don't reheat them, eat them fresh. If you have leftovers, either eat them cold or discard them. It's a small investment in your health. Number 4 is charred or grilled meats that are reheated. Now, grilling and charring meats creates compounds called heterocyclic amines, or HCAs, which form when meat is cooked at high temperatures. This is especially true when there's direct contact between the meat and high heat, causing that char. HCAs are known to be problematic for pancreatic health. But here's the thing that really amplifies the danger. When you reheat charred meat, especially in a microwave, you create additional stress on those HCAs that can break them down into even more inflammatory compounds. You're essentially multiplying the damage. If you love grilled meats, and I get it because they're delicious, then eat them fresh off the grill. Don't save them for leftovers if possible. If you must store them, eat them cold rather than reheating. The flavor is actually better that way with many grilled meats anyway. Number 5 is reheated chicken, particularly chicken that's been cooked with skin or in fatty preparations. When chicken is cooked and then reheated, the proteins in the chicken can oxidize and break down, creating oxidative compounds that are inflammatory. Additionally, chicken fat is prone to oxidation, which generates compounds called lipid peroxides. Now, I know this might worry some of you because chicken is a staple protein. Don't panic. The key is that this is specifically about reheated chicken. Fresh chicken is perfectly fine. And more importantly, there are ways to handle chicken safely. If you're going to cook chicken and potentially have leftovers, cook it without the skin. Use gentler cooking methods like poaching or steaming rather than high-heat searing or frying. Store the cooked chicken separate from any oils or sauces. When you do reheat, do it gently at lower temperatures, or better yet, eat it cold in a salad or shred it in a wrap. The cold preparation actually increases its digestibility and reduces the oxidative stress. So those are the 5 foods: vegetable oils, processed meats, refined carbohydrates, charred meats, and reheated chicken. But just knowing what to avoid isn't enough. You need a practical strategy for handling your food. Let me give you some principles that will transform how you think about cooking and leftovers. First, plan your portions more carefully. Cook exactly what you need or what you'll eat within 1 day of cooking. This dramatically reduces the temptation to store and reheat. Second, when you do have leftovers, prioritize eating them fresh or cold rather than reheating. Most foods are actually delicious cold. Vegetables can go into salads. Proteins can be used in wraps or grain bowls eaten at room temperature. Soups can be eaten chilled or served at warm temperatures without aggressive reheating. Third, if you must reheat, do it gently. Never use a microwave for critical foods. Use a regular oven at low to medium temperature. Heat slowly and just until the food reaches a safe eating temperature. This preserves more of the nutritional value and prevents the formation of harmful compounds. Fourth, rotate your cooking methods. Don't always grill, don't always fry, don't always use the same cooking oil. Vary your cooking techniques. Use steaming, boiling, gentle sautéing in minimal oil, and baking as your primary methods. Fifth, invest in fresh ingredients more frequently. Instead of doing one big cook once a week and reheating all week, consider doing shorter cooking sessions with fresher ingredients. It seems like more work, but it's genuinely not, and the health benefits are substantial. Sixth, use storage containers that protect your food. Glass containers are better than plastic. Store foods in ways that minimize exposure to air. When you minimize oxidation during storage, you minimize the formation of harmful compounds. Let me also address something important. Some of you might be thinking, well, I eat reheated food all the time and I'm fine. And you know what? Many people do, and they're fine. At least so far. But pancreatic cancer doesn't care about your optimism or your luck. It's a numbers game. These harmful compounds increase your risk. They don't guarantee you'll get cancer, but they shift the odds in a direction you don't want them to shift. Think of it like driving without a seatbelt. Some people do it for years and never get in an accident. But would you bet your health on that? Or would you use a seatbelt, acknowledging that it's the smart precaution? That's how I want you to think about food handling. You're not trying to achieve absolute perfection. You're just trying to shift the odds in your favor. Now, beyond avoiding these 5 foods and how they're reheated, let me give you the broader picture of pancreatic cancer prevention. Diet is just one piece. Here's what the research shows. Maintain a healthy weight. Obesity is a significant risk factor for pancreatic cancer. Even moderate weight loss, if you're overweight, can reduce your risk. Exercise regularly. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week. Exercise reduces inflammation, helps maintain healthy weight, and improves insulin sensitivity. Don't smoke. Smoking roughly doubles your risk of pancreatic cancer. If you smoke, quitting is the single most important thing you can do for your pancreatic health. Limit alcohol. Heavy alcohol consumption damages the pancreas and increases cancer risk. If you drink, keep it moderate. No more than 1 drink daily for women, 2 for men. Eat more plants. Whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and fruits are protective. The fiber, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds in these foods actively support pancreatic health. Be cautious with supplements. Some supplements, when taken in high doses, have been linked to increased cancer risk. Stick with whole foods as your primary source of nutrition. Manage your blood sugar. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, work with your doctor to keep blood sugar well controlled. Chronic high blood sugar significantly increases pancreatic cancer risk. Finally, I want to mention that if you have family history of pancreatic cancer, talk to your doctor. There may be screening options available to you, and your doctor needs to know so they can monitor you more carefully. Let me be honest with you about something. Not every health recommendation you hear is going to make a dramatic difference in your lifespan. Some of them are incremental. But pancreatic cancer is so serious and survival rates are so poor that even small reductions in risk are meaningful. We're not talking about a 5% improvement in longevity. We're talking about reducing the chance of a disease that kills most people within 5 years of diagnosis. These changes I'm recommending aren't extreme. They're not going to require you to become a different person. They're practical adjustments to habits you already have, and the benefits extend far beyond just pancreatic cancer risk. They'll reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, other cancers, and cognitive decline. So here's what I want you to do. Start with one change this week. Maybe it's stopping the reheating of processed meats. Maybe it's switching how you store your cooked vegetables. Maybe it's committing to not microwaving food for the next week and using the oven instead. Pick one thing, master it, then move to the next one. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking your health seriously enough to make small, consistent changes that move you in the right direction. If this video was helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. I post new health information every week, and I genuinely believe that an informed population makes better health choices. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you know someone who needs to hear this information, please share the video with them. Your pancreas doesn't advertise when it's in trouble. By the time you feel symptoms, you're often in serious disease. Preventing pancreatic cancer is infinitely easier than treating it. So take these recommendations seriously, make these small changes, and give yourself the best chance at a long and healthy life. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself.